Well, hello, hello, hello. I want to thank you for stopping by. We are at such an important card, the 21, the world card. It's bears to talk about the fact that this card is the last card, of course, in the majors. And we're talking about integrity and wholeness. And I will spend a little bit, maybe more time on this card than I usually have, just because of its position at the end of the series. Now, remember, I want to remind everybody that tarot teaches us, the majors especially, teach us the walk of our lives, the human walk that we all can experience. Some of us will get maybe only to the 7. Maybe some of us will get all the way through to the 21. But keep in mind, no matter where you fall on this human walk, we do, because we are human, we will cycle back and forth. Even if you get to the 21, very few people, I think, even the Dalai Lama says he can't stay at that high vibrational level all the time. I mean, that's why he prays a lot, to keep himself more motivated. But the truth is, in our lives, we can experience 1 through 21. And I will tell you what 21 is. I just wanted to get a little bit of this out of the way. We can experience 1 through 21 in this, just perhaps in a specific way. Let's say in a specific issue that we're dealing with, right? I know that I have issues with disappointment, and I have cycled many times through that 1 through 21, pretty much using all of the cards at various points, learning a very deep, deep lesson about disappointment. And one thing I've noticed is that change in me, because we're not talking about, as I have mentioned before, about the minor cards, something minor in our lives, right? Like, I can't even think of an example right now, I'm sorry. But, the minors are about just our daily walk and how we're getting through, and perhaps what we're thinking about and what we're doing, and perhaps how we're in activity to something. But remember, the majors are a real in-depth understanding of self, because again, tarot is know thyself, right? So we're talking about great change. And when I said that I had issues with disappointment, I have experienced profound change all the way to the 21 of complete wholeness and the integration of what it means to fully understand how disappointment affects me, so that I can change not only how I respond to it, but how I take it in when somebody has disappointed me. And yet, there are moments when I forget, and I'm out of the 21 in that place of complete consciousness and back to maybe, the devil, being a victim to it. So I'm just offering you a practical understanding about the majors. But if we look at them in their linear fashion, we are now at Nirvana, the top card. And what does this card mean? Well, I'm going to read you, because really, I have said that before. I'm going to read you what I have kind of came up with about this card, and things that I started to think about, right? The universe encompasses, this card, the world, the universe encompasses all consciousness on all levels, on all planes, not just here on Earth. At this level, we've opened to all the possibilities about time and space, and we're no longer fooled. This card is the Fool, innocence and emptiness united with wisdom. Remember, the Fool card is us spirit coming into this world, open, available. But we have cycled through 21 cards. Now we also can combine that with wisdom, right? It's great. The Dancer carries unity, focused around a constantly moving, peaceful center. Movement and focus, the calm amidst the storm. This is the dance of life. The central self of each of us is the eternal dancer. Another aspect to this card is this. Even when other parts of our lives seem well and good, when one part of our lives is, we can still live part of our lives with in a dishonest way, right? And when we do that, it pulls every part of our life into a dishonest place, and we live without integrity, and we don't feel whole. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that we go through life doing what we do. Our lives can be great, but sometimes we don't give ourselves enough understanding, enough know thyself. And so we're not really living fully authentic, right? And so that's a way that we can feel like we're dishonest, or maybe someone else will point it out. Well, you said you wanted to be in a relationship, but it's been 2 years. What's really going on? Why hasn't that happened yet, right? So when we no longer ignore our truths, when we start to live with integrity in our lives, then we become the world card, the universal dancer. We are whole. And we live with a new vibration. We live with a profound peace and happiness that cannot really be described. It can only be felt. How many times have you had an epiphany that just wakes you up and you just feel completely solid in yourself? And it changes everything. I think, I might be misquoting, but I can't remember the reference. So you might in the statements here, below, when you leave me a comment, you might say, Jill, you're all wrong. But somewhere I read that even the Buddhists believe that our cells can actually change when we've changed our consciousness, when we've changed our perceptions, when we've changed our awareness, right? And this is where love lives. Love lives with the world card, the universe, because in that state, when we completely understand that we are integral to ourselves, then we can be integral with everything else. When we're clear with ourselves, we can be clear with others. And at that point, what we all know is that regardless of how somebody reacts to us, we know that we're in the best place we can be, right? We are sitting in an empowered state that makes us feel like we are integral to what we believe, what we are going to say, what we're going to do, how we're going to interact with people. And I had an experience a long time ago with my mom, who I went through a lot of work on forgiving her. I never talked to her about this. She and I had a very tense relationship, very tense. Whenever I saw her, she lives on the other coast, I live on the West Coast. Whenever we saw each other or spoke on the phone, it was very tense. But when I started to work on myself and forgiving myself and forgiving her, my energy around her changed. I became whole. I became more in line with how I wanted to feel, how I wanted to be with myself. I wasn't even thinking about how I wanted to be with her. But what happened, and I know we've all had this experience, the energy in me shifted, and it shifted in her, which was proof enough that when we stay whole in ourselves, things work out the way they're supposed to, even with other people. Now, I'm not saying maybe she would have remained tense with me. Of course, it wouldn't have mattered, because at that point I would have realized that's her, not me, right? But the point is, when I did see her again after doing all that work on myself, she actually was a lot more peaceful with me. Again, that doesn't always happen, but we get to see who people truly are when we are completely with ourselves. And that's true about what we have a passion about too. When we find what we're passionate about, we allow ourselves to fully develop and fully be with what we love, not just about what we're doing, but about ourselves. There is truth. There is truth inside of us. Finding it isn't easy. Finding it is a challenge. And finding it ebbs and flows, right? Because we have many truths. We have many things in us that will resonate truth. But that is what the World card is all about. And it's certainly the benefits to getting there, whether it's a specific issue, having to do with yourself, having to do with relationship, having to do with your passion, having to do with work, having to do with your intimate partner, having to do with whatever is happening in your life. When we find the truth of ourselves and can sit in the truth of who we are in that situation, we have absolutely experienced this card. So find your truth. It's not, like I said, it's not easy. It can be challenging, but it's what tarot was made for. And I hope you've enjoyed this series. Please leave your comment. Let me know what you think. There's so much that we can discuss about each major card. There's a lot of depth there. Really, I've just touched the surface, but I hope I've opened up a little bit more for you about what the majors are about what each card can teach us, about how we can use each card to benefit us. And as I promised, I will do another video after this one to offer you some suggestions, some exercises that might help you dive even deeper into every card. All right, till then, thanks again for being here.